Hello there, Commonwealth Rom here, and let's go for 2023 likes now that we're done with intros. The Depths, Hyrule's dark and mostly abandoned bottom layer. A hive of secrets, and most of all, mysteries that date back to the time of and prior to the kingdom's founding. It can be argued what is the oldest down here, but the dark skeletons holding none other than Breath of the Wild set of the wild are definitely up there. Located beneath where the skeletons of the surface leviathans rest, where one child one can be ultra-handed into a vehicle, these holding dogs of Link's green tunic that the ancient Sheikah awarded us for completing the shrine trials is a gigantic mystery, one that we might never get the answer to. Especially when it comes to canonicity. Did the Zonai make the exact same set of the wild first and left them in these remote prehistoric locations, much like the ancient Sheikah left their set at the foot of the mother goddess statue, which we all know what was hiding, the Zonai Secret Stones Chamber, and the later built Chamber of Tears. The tunic worn by the hero who would oppose Ganondorf, as the other sets found in remote mines are more of amiibo replacements. The amiibo tunics of the Depths are a whole different matter, but what is key to us is the following. Why is the set prepared for Link found in these completely remote locations at the edge of Hebra, Eldin, and Gerudo's depths? Naturally, the reward exploration of the hardest to reach corners of this layer, but the other might be the connection that all the heroes share, the spirit that dates back to the first hero of the goddess. So who are these dark skeletons? It is impossible to say, as the whole Levias theory has been tied to the Eldin Leviathan above. Duality is a clear theme of this sequel, and the most important connection to the surface and even the sky above it, beside the light roots, are the bargainer statues. Collectors of pose or souls who got lost on their path to the afterlife. Or at least that's what is said by the bargainer statues. Located right underneath each of the grand statues of the goddess, these sentient beings hint towards a connection between the two. Specifically, the Great Plateau, the border of central Hyrule and Necluda in the sky, Akkala, Mount Lanayru on the border of Necluda and Lanayru, Faron, and the Tabantha frontier. The goddess of light and the gods of darkness and death. One granting us health and stamina, the other accepting souls in exchange for material goods of the darkness. But the craziest part is that the statue of the central mine takes control of the goddess statue inside the Great Plateau's Temple of Time. Did Hylia allow this, or are the bargainers doing this behind her grace's back? Not so different from the operations of the horn statue, but for some reason the bargainer statues are not persecuted. A mystery indeed, though I will give my take on it. Hylia might see the bargainer statues as servants or collectors who do the dirty work she's not willing to perform herself, as she deals with more noble matters, aka royals, and the heroes. The bargainers don't differentiate, a soul is a soul to them, and they belong in the afterlife no matter whether they were good or bad. Naturally, we're talking about humanoids here, not Ganon's minions. And it appears that the statues only live for one task, and hence see Link as a gift from above who can finally give most of the souls who perished during the Great Calamity the opportunity to move on from these dark depths. Though it remains to be seen where. Are they granted eternal life or simply consumed? And where are they heading to anyway? Hell? Heaven? A mystery within a mystery. What I know is that they appreciate Link's service by granting him first protection, and finally, when locating all statues, the Tunic of Memories. The old champion set from Breath of the Wild. A far better reward than whatever the Light Root's completion reward was. Either way, souls and spirits take different forms in tiers of the kingdom. On one side, you have the lost humanoids who linger on in the depths, the Koroks of the surface and sky, and finally, the Bluepies. All originally tied to cherry trees and the Lord of the Mountain, Satori, in Breath of the Wild. Now both point us to caves of the surface, but for some reason there's one location in the depths where they also reside. The Bluepie Grove, which naturally is found right underneath Satori Mountain with its characteristic cherry tree. No Satori to ride sadly, but at least we find the Bluepies. A safe haven in a dark and dangerous territory where even a number of souls have sought refuge. Either that or these souls perished while seeking refuge here during the calamity, and just like other souls linger in place until Link shows up, cheerful and tragic side by side. This location is a classic example of Zelda magic and how it with the right ingredients can impact us emotionally. The grand mystery here, naturally, is why this place even exists, and whether this is the cradle of Satori before they ascend up to their role on the surface. Many questions, all starting from a beautiful tribute to the tragically lost president of Nintendo, Satoru Iwata, in 2015. I'm just going to say that these are the charming spirits who stand in contrast to those who likely never turn into spirits. And in this case, we have to say that envy is a horrible thing. But how else to explain the Gibdo surrounding the Garuda Underground Cemetery? Undead who got infected and taken over. Souls that never left their physical form and would never again enjoy autonomy as they served the parasites. Specifically Queen Gibdo, who served Ganondorf. Even after her fall, they are cursed, and in the depths they surround the Garuda Underground Cemetery, where they wish they could rest, but can't. A tragic place right underneath the Arbiter's grounds, which we know as Hyrule's most notorious prison and execution site in Twilight Princess. These are not beings of free will, but the origin and connection are naturally not explained, as doing so might have changed a certain age rating. As we all know, the history of Hyrule's provinces is dark, and who knows what these individuals did before becoming the Walking Dead. Mind you, in a sea of monsters and scheming Yiga, who even with the vehicles still remain no match against Link. Though before the creation of the clan and the Hylian betrayal of the Sheikah, the depths were the main mining site of the Zonai, but their homeland was most likely Faron, and within it Zonai ruins and Dracozu Lake. And located north of this one, and naturally in the depths, is the Zonai Construct Factory. And right out of here, behind the Bargainer statue of the Wellspring of Courage, and below the Spring of Courage, we find a waterfall that you cannot really climb. Instead, you can walk through it to reach a very suspicious chamber. Specifically, Dracozu Altar, which holds a chest with crystallized charges. Then what is so mysterious and downright creepy with this? Its location is right next to a Bargainer statue, with Pose literally lining up perfectly towards the waterfall and in the chamber up to the altar. Altars are a place of conducting religious service, but also sacrifice. What if these souls were sacrificed and ended up lost in the depths underneath? A truly terrifying concept, but which lines up pretty well. Truth is that beside their use of technology and mining traditions, we know little of the Zonai before their final generation. In truth, only secret stones and being seen as gods. Now what if this altar right here is a hint towards a darker history? Though we cannot forget what happened with Ganondorf's rise in the distant past. A massacre by the hands of monsters. It could be as simple as Hylians who sought refuge but were located and then slaughtered. The thing is, we will most likely never know, and if it served as a sacrificial site, who is Dracozu? Another mystery right here, potentially tied to the dragon found in Dracozu Lake. Now let's end with something more charming than potential sacrifices in Faron with a love island. The one that mirrors the Heart Pond on Tuft Mountain. A location where we found a Hylian and Garuda falling for each other in Breath of the Wild. But what is the mystery here? Oh, that is simple. Do the two souls found on this island of the depths represent the two characters present in Breath of the Wild? No, as Perda and Wobbin are married and both in Garuda Town with their daughter Aklet, though Wobbin is imprisoned for sneaking in. Then whose spirits are lingering here? Probably a different, though far more tragic Garuda Hylian couple. One that ended with a bang, but where death didn't set them apart. Why do I believe in love with an explosive ending, since on the same island we find a single bomb flower, one that is truly explosive? Who knows? Apparently, it ended here, and the far taller Garuda and her Hylian partner are stuck on this island until Link's arrival. Distant past, calamity, or just a recent accident. Most likely, we will never know when they met their end on the surface. And that is enough of the depths for one video. But be sure to share your favorite depths mysteries, and perhaps we'll do a follow-up with your comment, highlighted. Naturally, that depends on views, so be sure to leave a like, subscribe and press the notification bell if you haven't already. Last but not least, big thanks to you for watching until the end, and to all our patreon.com/Cameron patrons, and in particular, raw producer Charles Shash. You rock, and please enjoy one or both of these two awesome videos.